How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all well on this lovely sunny day. Just need to fix something here before it goes wing wang on me. Technology is not working brilliantly today, lads. Give me a sec. Phone would have to die when I'm just about in. As you saw, hopefully you saw, the results of our competition went out, and there was 3 winners. Lads, a bit blown away. There was about 200 people who wanted those tools or went in for them. I only had 3 sets. So I would love to be able to give everybody a set, but I haven't got them. But I am going to do some more competitions. I am going to give some more stuff away. And as I said last week, I'm developing a class at the minute that anybody can take part. Doesn't matter if you're a good sculptor, if you're only starting, you're a novice, or you're brilliant. I'm going to do a skull sculpting workshop, and I'm going to give away 4 blocks of Shavant with that. So stay tuned for that. But the winners, well, congratulations to them. It was at Ravenstein and Maves Veeks and Artie Cloudy. Now, if people think, because a few people might say, oh, sure, Paul knows them. My kids picked them out, and they randomly picked them out by literally 1 to 200, and they picked a number between, and then we picked them out after that. So congratulations to them. If you are watching, can you send your details on to me and send me your full name and your postcode and your address, and I will get them out to you as soon as possible. There is now, lads, I will be staying within my 2 kilometers. There's a post box down at the end of the road. So that's pretty much it with that one. Thanks to everybody who, I'm blown away. But thanks to everybody who participated in that. And sorry again that I can't give tools to everybody. I know what it's like when I go in for competitions, especially the lotto. I think I'm going to win the whole bloody thing, and I don't. But congratulations to the ones who did. So from last week, this didn't exist. And what I'm trying to do now, well, Paddy, well, Glenn, well, Kira, you can see there, I'm just about finishing. I've left a little hole in here. I'm just trying to pull this out and push it in. I want to get it really straight. That's what we're going to try and do today. I have some clay in the oven. I want to get this as smooth. This here, I want to get that as smooth as it is over here. And I have been working on the anatomy of the shoulder here as well. But if you saw on Wednesday, or what day is it? Wednesday. Sorry, lads, I haven't got a clue what day it is. This didn't exist on Saturday, it's all hollow, and it's all made out of tin foil, and it's only about that thick. It's about what? Not even. I'd say if it's 5 mil, add it to max. So it's like an Easter egg. It's all hollow. Here I had to build up. Here I had to build up, and here I had to build up. What's really nice about what I'm finding now, we're putting this on, and I wanted to put this on as well as the other side, put the neck on. It's helping me symmetry-wise build out the neck to what it should be. And what using, like, I'm using anatomy tools. I use anatomy tools like from books. There's a fantastic book coming out, an absolutely brilliant book. And it's all done digitally, but it's in book format. And it is anatomy for sculptors, and it was a Kickstarter program, and it was about, I don't know, about €80, but well worth the money, absolutely well worth the money. Can we see a front view of this fella? Yes, you can. There he goes. There's a front view. That's view done. I'm going to be working on the side today, but that anatomy for sculptors. And if you look on Facebook, look on what's it called? Instagram, you'll see it. That should be coming soon to me. But I've been using tools like the thing you see in the background. That's the head, and that little small one, you saw him before. I'm using him to get the anatomy right. Now, I had this all covered up. That little hole wasn't there. It was not beautifully smooth, but getting smooth. And I'm going, oh crap! I think I left one of my cups inside. And I don't have, I don't like waste and stuff, and there's no point in them being inside. So I had to cut it back open again. There's no cup. All the cups were in the oven. But it reminded me of a story once. Now, I don't know if this is true. I really don't know if this is true. I hope it is true because I absolutely love it. On the and what I think it was where was it? I think it was Shepperton Studios, and it was on Event to Horizon, that horror sci-fi. Well, she did. And what happened was they were making a character that's suspended in space in the spaceship and falls to the ground and shatters into a million pieces. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because this fella is hollow, and I thought there was something inside him that I wanted to get out, and it wasn't inside. So I ripped it apart for no reason whatsoever. But on this, this character was suspended in space, and they dropped the character. Now, it's not really a character. It's all made out of resin that when it hits the ground, it shatters. The inside was made up of resin that actually looks like it's broken as well. And so the whole effect is hits the ground, shatters into a million pieces like glass or like crystal. Now, there's a few here. I think there's one there. There's a big, massive messer who's just tuned in. Ed Rourke. You'd appreciate it, Ed. What they did was for the crack. Now, I don't know if this is 100% true, but the guys who was telling me were on it, so I hope it is true. I really do hope it's true. The guys who were making it were messing and said, for the crack, we'll put a Barbie doll inside this body that's going to go down and crash. And what happened was it crashed beautifully, cracked up beautifully, and now they painted the Barbie doll, but in camera, and it's a high-speed camera. If anybody knows anything about that, they're expensive to get in. You see this beautiful Barbie doll in the front frame of the camera. So lads, don't be doing that crack. So that's what I was sort of trying to, well, it's not that I was avoiding, but I thought there was a cup inside this, inside here, which is hollow, which reminded me of that story. Mad. Yeah, Masters, all right. Yeah, I know, absolutely. So again, lads, congratulations to the people who won, and commiserations to the people who didn't win the tools. If I had 200 sets, I'd give you them all, but I don't have 200 sets. But and that's how many people went in for it. So mad, absolute mad. I didn't realize everybody needed scoping tools. Or maybe. See, and now listen, use lad who hi Red, use lad who won them. I don't want to see in a couple of years' time that they're going on eBay and these are going for loads of money because there were special edition made in the quarantine tools that don't exist again. Yes, chances. So I'm trying to build this up. I know that this sort of stuff is boring, and it's boring to the viewer. To be honest, it is boring to me as well. I'm looking at the face, I'm looking at the neck, and I want to get in. I want to get into that anatomy. I want to get in and start doing the skin texture and all that sort of stuff. But I have to listen to my own voice because I tell people all the time who are learning with me, you need to do the form first. Now, this is not necessarily form, but I do think it's the foundation of the sculpt. And if it looks beautiful, and if I put the time into it, then the rest will evolve from that. Saying that, I'm like everybody else. I'm going, oh Christ, let's do the niceness. I couldn't be bothered doing this bit, but this is just as important as everything else. How is everybody? Yeah, I think, yeah. To cut up a block. I whacked up this oven. I've gone through 2 blocks already before you even came, and I've whacked up the oven, and it is the bottom of the cups are molten lava. So lads, be careful with this stuff. It will take you out. And that block, I'll just show you now. Look, that there is dripping off. That there, if it goes onto your skin, it will take flesh. But what's really useful of it is when you get it like that. And I've even seen people, just give me a sec, I even see people doing a really thin core. Now I have shorts on, so that's really fucking dodgy. I've seen people, yeah, just went on me there. I've seen people do a really thin core and even brush this on. Just be careful when you're doing that, will you? Because it will take you out. And it'll laugh when it does it. Now, what I just need to do quickly is cut this up. No, that is already broken. So, lads, like I said, yeah, Shane, congratulations, Shane. Raven Satan, he's one of the winners. He's just come in now. What I was saying last week, lads, is that I am going to do a course, or I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know what you call this. But I am going to do a course in let's sculpt the skull. I've done some stuff up. A lot of people have been in contact with me, and they said that they would like to do it. Now, a lot of people are doing it. So what I'm going to ask people to do, so I don't want to miss out on anybody, because I don't want any lads. I'm doing this for nothing. So I don't want to be missing anybody and then somebody feeling disappointed. So what I've done, if you want to participate in that class, there will be a few things that you need. One, some clay, and I've worked it out that you can use half a block of clay. That's half a block of Shavant clay, the clay I use, clay I'm using at the minute. And that is a clay that's 908. So about roughly 454, 400. Mayor, how's it going? So 450 roughly grams with a little bit of a thin foil ball on the inside will make this skull. So I've done up the reference. It is on the website. Now what I've done is, I'm not trying to catch anybody out. What I've done is you can go onto the website, paulmcdonalddesign.com, and go to live streams and go to make a skull. It's very simple as well. It's on the home page. You can click into it to join. Lads, I'm not making any money out of this. This is all for free. I'm not catching anybody out. But what I want to do is just organize it properly. So when you go on there, say that you want to join, just click on the buttons, and it will email you a confirmation. And just click on the confirmation, and then it will email you the PDF of the skull reference. So what it'll also do is just give me a record of everybody who wants to participate on it. So please do that, because I'm trying to do an awful lot of things here. It's like sculpting's one thing, sorting out all this stuff here is another thing. I posted out this morning another, well, I didn't use, if you were with me, you would have seen it, but I've edited it together. It's the tool making workshop that I did. So all that's edited together. I've put in the places, the suppliers, all that sort of stuff. And so it's in a nicer format and a little bit shorter than what it was on the day. So I'm doing all that sort of stuff as well, trying to keep, well, people are asking me to do it. So if anybody knows me out there, I like to do things well and in a nice way. So I want to do the skull in a nice way as well. So if you want to do it, go on to the website, Paul McDonnell, McDonnell design. We all know how to spell design. I hope so. design.com. If you want to do it, just sign up, and it doesn't cost anything, lads. It's not. I'm not asking for money. Like, I just want people to be able to participate and sculpt at this mad time. So, but what it will do is give me a record of everybody who, and an email of everybody who wants to participate, and then I can send you more references. So I have to spend a bit of time doing it. I will send out an email to everybody saying, this is when it's starting. These are the times we're going to do it. And so bear with me on that one. This week was a bit mental. I was getting to a stage that I thought I might actually not be able to do this today, and that was stressing me out. So, but I did. So some people might not be doing it, but I have to still work in IAD. No, I don't mean not doing it. It isn't physically able to do it because they can't get the work. Me, I can work on a computer. So I've been trying to do that all week, and it's a bit busy. So bear with me, and I will get all the information out. I'm yapping, I know. Be careful of these things. I nearly did it there, actually. I think I did. You can slice yourselves with the corner of that thing there. So what I'm doing again is those blocks, I put the block into the oven. The oven is just a very cheap oven with €60, and that will keep it at a temperature. I keep the temperature roughly between, depending on if I'm impatient or not. Sometimes I am impatient. I want to get more clay on. I will whack it up to 100 degrees. It can roughly stay at 70 degrees. So I'm just getting this all prepped and ready, and I want to finish this neck today so I can start moving on to the niceness. And unfortunately, I had a plan to get up early this morning and finish it before you came on. I did get up early. I got up at 6, but didn't get to it. There's lots of stuff that needs to be done. Lots of students need to be talked to. So, put the block into the oven. Take the foil off, or not, well, it's, what do you call it, plastic. Take that off, put it in the oven, leave it in there for a while. When you leave it in there for a while, the whole block will cool down, and it will make what I've just done, cutting it up, really easy. Then put it in cups, then put the cups in the oven. Keep them in the oven, and then they'll be all nice and supple to sculpt. I do not like wrecking my knuckles, and I see people doing it all the time. I see it in college all the time. I see go into studios. I walk through studios all the time, and I see people taking, literally, they'll take a knife or chisel or anything they've got, or even a ruler. I've seen people do it with a ruler, and they'll be chiseling into this cold block of Shivant. Don't do that. You're only going to wreck your tools. You're only going to wreck yourself, and you're probably going to slice something important off. Don't do that. So what you should do is put a block into an oven. You could use a crock pot as well. I've seen people do that. You could put it on the radiator. If it's a hot day, put it on the windowsill, and heat it up. Put it into blocks, smaller blocks, and then it'll heat up even more and become soft. The stuff I like to use is this is medium. It's not too hard and it's not too soft. But when it's hard, when it's not warm or when it's cold, it'll break your knuckles. So don't do that. You'll wreck yourself. And I don't know about anybody else out there. Well, it's probably just me. But I'm doing that much sculpting at the minute. My hands get sore anyway. But the last couple of nights they've been fairly sore. So they'll be going to ice. But am I going to stop? No. I'd rather have sore wrists and loads of sculpts. So Aidan, is she going to do the skull? Now, I know that this is not the exciting bit. I know everybody will want to see the front and working on that, but this is important, so it needs to get done. And unfortunately, I didn't get time to get it done. You believe so? Cool, excellent. We'll get it there. Go onto the website and sign it up, and she'll get an email. And then I won't be doing it this week, lads. I'm up to my tonsils this week, and I need a little bit more time to prepare it. But you also need time to get some clay. So get some clay and sign it up, and I will send you more information and a definite time when it's going to actually happen. So. Oh, you made some tools for her and you sent them to her. Ah, Jesus. There's love. You use a cheese wire, a cheese, was it? Oh, cheese wire. A cheese wire on Shavant or a cheese wire on wet clay? Because I would use a cheese wire. Well, it's actually piano wire, because it's stainless steel and won't rust. I use that on wet clay, but no, I wouldn't use cheese wire on this. But I could, I suppose. But I still do think that the clay would need to be that little bit warmer. Because when it's hard, it is hard. So I'm just filling holes. I know this is not exciting, lads, but I'm going to. I need to get done. What I'm also figuring out is like a few people have sent me their sculpts. I think one of them's on there. And what I discovered today, which I didn't realize on what do you call it, Facebook. I knew you could call somebody, but I didn't realize that I could share my screen. So I could say, well, this is cool, or that bit's too low, this bit needs to go in. So we might do something like that with people who want to participate in the Sculpt the Skull workshop. Now, I doubt I will be able to do it live, unless you send a photograph to me straight away. But when we do it, we'll work out some way of you sending me the sculpts, and we can just say, keep an eye on that, look at this, do it that way. Now, I am going to make one myself, and I'm going to do it in a few different ways. But one way, somebody might just lob into a block of clay and work up. I don't tend to like to do that. What I like to do is use the reference that I've given you. So with the reference that I've given you, you might need more than one printed out. Because what I like to do is you will have a left profile, you'll have a right profile, and you'll have a frontal profile. I'm not worried about the back, and that's for a reason. What I'm actually thinking is for people who might want to do this, is that we put it onto a flat board, and then you could easily make a block silicone mold out of it, and you could pop out a resin skull out of it, or a plaster skull out of it later. But what I like to do with the side profile is I will cut out the template and work on one side first and build that up. And then I can, once I've built that up, and I know that the side profile is bang on accurate because it's literally sitting on top of the reference. It's sort of what I did with this, sort of. This being so humongous, it's not quite the same, but same principle. And then I would sculpt to the reference, on top of the reference, getting half of it, and then I can peel off the reference. Now that's probably going to be dud, or what you could do. Thinking about this, you could actually stick it onto some maybe, I don't know what people have, but ideally what you would do is you would laminate the reference, and then you work on top of the reference. Then we can get it off, and then work the other side up. But if we haven't got that, we could stick it down onto a cereal box, or cut out a cereal box into the shape of the skull of the reference, and work off that. But we will talk about that. So if you are interested, go onto the website and sign up. Again, it's free. What I'd also ask is share the thing around. Let's try and get as many people. If you're going to do it, share it around to some people and see if we can get them working on it as well. So Sculpt the Skull. I think that's what I'm calling it, but it's fairly simple. So we're going to do a Sculpt the Skull workshop. So if you want to get in on that, go to the website. It's on the homepage. It'll direct you. Now, what I'm trying to build up is all these areas, and like the other side, really nice and smooth, and it's got zing finish on the side. Now, as you saw last week, it was no side, so it certainly isn't. It wasn't zing. But how I do it is now I use the shim, but I'll also use the ruler. Now, if Fiona Snow was looking at me now, she'd have a connection with me using a ruler like this. A metal ruler, and my metal rulers, all my gears usually have clay on it because I use it for something that I probably shouldn't, but hell, it's a tool. So what I'm going to do, I sort of showed you this last week, I'm going to use it as a compass. I'm going to drag it up, and when you see that, there we go. When I drag it up, the high bits go white. You can see it white. And then there's a load of low bits there. But at least I know it's low. So what I'm going to do is fill them up, and then I'll scrape it again, fill them up, scrape it again. And every time I scrape it and it's high, it'll go white. And if it's too low, well, it won't have scraped it at all. And then you can go up, you can go down. Now, what you have to keep an eye on as well is that when you're going down, it can wobble in and out. Try and keep it straight. You can also go from the other side. Oh, hot today, lads. Hazel Moran, what's the story? I haven't heard from you in a long time. You obviously, you mustn't be making it because you haven't been asking me questions. What's the story? I see on your Instagram you're doing all sorts of. Is it good? How you, Captain? So again, what I can do as well, I can scrape it along like that. I'd be careful of that because when you're scraping it along like that, there's nothing stopping it from going in and out. But at least if I'm sitting on the board here and I'm pulling this back and forth, there's something solid to work off. Now, as I said, I did want this to have this sculptural, classical, that Mozart, Bach, classical sculptural look. So that's what I'm trying to emulate. Alex, what's the story? Now, they're obviously the high points, and you can sort of see there is white high. That there, I can see there's a line, and what's happening is it's going back in. I want it really, really straight and flat, so I need to fill in there, and I need to fill all these dark bits. So I'm going to do that now. I can do it quickly. Now, when doing this, you want the clay really, really warm. And what I can do is use this to scrape that clay in. Get it nice and smooth. Did I miss the competition for the clay? I mean, the chocolate stuff. You didn't miss the the chocolate stuff. You didn't miss the competition for the chocolate stuff. I haven't put it out yet. What I'm going to do with the, I love that, the chocolate stuff. That's going to stick now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clarify and finish up what I've been talking about with the, clarify and finish up what I'm talking about with the sculpt a skull. when I've done that, I'll put a post out so everybody can see it, and I'll do a competition then as well. I'm going to do that soon, and I will announce the winner or put it out. And I have 4 blocks, so no, you haven't missed it. I haven't put it out yet, but there were 3 winners of the tools, and they all have to send me their addresses, and I'll get them sent to them. But no, I haven't done a competition yet for the chocolate stuff. I love it, chocolate stuff. Now, the stuff I'm sending you isn't this color; it's green. So that's funny chocolate. That is now. You could imagine him where. You could imagine seeing the sculpture in the Hugh Lane. Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Right beside the Samuel Beckett Theatre. Now, what I'm going to do, I haven't really thought about that, is because it's a distance away. I want to make oversized costumes. I want to make want and actually do. They're 2 different things. But what I want to try and do is to make oversized spectacles as well. And if you have not seen or do not know, you don't even know who it is. But Kazu is his name, and he's a special effects makeup artist. But he's done Dick Smith, and he I think it's 3 times the human size, and Dick Smith had glasses, and he's made the glasses as well. So I would like to make the glasses because that's very Beckett as well. Although he didn't, in all my images, he doesn't wear glasses when he was older. Oh no, there's more. But you know those typical Beckett glasses. That's what I'd love to have on them as well. But I am going to make oversized costumes as well. Something like a polo neck. That's it. Now that there, I'm used to working the other way. I'm used to working in stop motion. And we want to make something or replicate reality, this world, this scale. And with that, we can't use, let's say we want to make corduroy. We can't use corduroy to make a miniature costume. So we'd have to either find a material that we could use that looked like corduroy, so that in miniature, when you actually blow it up or look at it through camera, it looks like corduroy. Everybody know what corduroy is. I hope. Am I too old? Now, if you can't find the material, you have to make the material. How do I get them so they aren't robbed? What? What are we talking about? Oh, the glasses. Oh no, I wouldn't worry about that. What in the end, this fella will have a core, and that core is similar to a skeleton. It's what will hold the silicone up. Now the silicone, in its nature, is flippy floppy, and it will go all over the place, and the core will be really hard, rigid, completely rigid. And what I will do is probably bolt them onto the core, so they'll never come off unless you want them to come off. And you could literally bolt them. This whole head will be completely hollow, so you could literally bolt them on through here into the head. They will never come off unless you want them to come off. So I think that's answered the question. But back to corduroy. You cannot necessarily or really buy corduroy at miniature scale. So let's say 8 times smaller than what it normally would be. If anybody saw Box Trolls, which is if you haven't, watch it, you'll love it. For the people, the mayor, the mayor of Cheese, he is loads of corduroy. And what they did was they had it's like a really fine felt material, and they laser cut in the lines of to create it looking like as if it was corduroy. Now, I don't think I have to do anything like that. Sometimes it's that a little bit easier to get a material oversized than it is to get undersized, but I haven't really thought about that yet. But like a polo neck, I'd say. Now, this is getting smoother and smoother as I keep on going. You can see that there's a few dark patches, but there's more light patches. That light patches is the tool scraping off the top, and once I see that, I know that the majority of it is getting smooth. And again, I apologize, lads. This is the boring bit. We will be getting on to nice bits, but possibly not today. But this has to be done. Can't be niceness every day. So, Catherine, are you going to do sculpt the skull with me? Somebody could knit the polo neck. I actually did that on the other way around. It was a thing called burrows, and actually two things: burrows and it was a stop motion animation, and then I did what's his name, Connor at the end of the universe. It was a live puppet show, and for both characters, they had these lovely sort of mammy homemade knitted jumpers. So that's exactly what was done. It was knitted, and looked beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And if you want to see Dan, go to the website. And if you want to do Sculpt the Skull, go to the website and sign up. It is free. I'm not asking for people to pay for it here. I'm giving away stuff. So sign up. It's just so I can keep the track on who wants to do it. Because I want to send out more reference and stuff like that. So I think there are nearly all the holes done. Do a few passes with this. Now to get this thing clean, because it gets filthy with this stuff, you just scrape it off the side. I have the armatures, the armatures that I have, the one that I can build, it does have something that I can scrape off. If you don't, the pack that this comes in has a few more in it, so just use them to help you clean it off. You don't want to be spending loads of time. Now you can see that there, it's going white in loads of spots. So you're spending loads of time doing this, so keep it clean. And again, I know how anal this probably looks to people that are spending loads of time getting this smooth. But my opinion on it is it should be just as beautiful as the rest of the sculpt. And I might not even see it, but that doesn't matter. It might actually be covered by a polo neck. But I know that it'll be nice and smooth. You used to make heads when you were in school and frighten your roommates. Cool. Cool. When you were on boarding school. I remember I used to live with a girl. She doesn't live here in Ireland anymore. She's from France. She used to live in. She used to work in Microsoft. Steph is her name. Very good friend. And I was asked to do a bog body, and similar thing. I was doing a late one and hair punching into the night. Left him in the kitchen table, and I heard an almighty scream in the next morning. She'd found the bog body when she was going for her tea, or coffee, definitely coffee. Now, so I'll use this again because I don't want it to go wobbly on me. Sounds great. Tom, cool. Sign up. Go onto the website and sign up. It doesn't cost anything. I just need to keep an eye on who wants to do this so I can send out more information to people. So and share it around. And let's get people scoping it as much as possible. That's pretty much. That's pretty much what you're going to get. Is that there? I'm going to send out more stuff, and it will be a 70 mil high skull. So we're not doing a full head, because a full head would take an awful lot of, well, not an awful lot, but it would take a lot of material. Whereas a lot of people can afford half a block of this stuff, or a couple of people win. If you can't if you haven't got this stuff, no, this is called Chevant. If you haven't got it, or there's another one called La Beau Touché. That's the very fancy version of this, but it's exactly the same stuff. Another one called Plastiline. It's actually really nice. I really like that. If I wasn't using this thing is, even though this is heavy, I'm putting that much pressure on it, it keeps twisting around. If I wasn't using this, I'd be using Plastiline, and you get Plastiline. The cheapest place to get Plastiline comes in grey and it comes in beige. The beige is the softest. The grey comes in different softness. Softness. Well, that's what we're going with. Softness, and a lot more than the Chevant. The Chevant is only soft, medium, and hard. But if you go to Jacobson's Chemicals, you get it there. It's a good price. Now you can see that there was gaping hole when we started, and you can see that it's getting smoother. But you can also see you can actually see the tool mark, and you can see that this is coming off really nicely and really thin layer. That's what I'm looking for, and the majority of that is getting smooth, but these little bits in here are not. So the only way to get over that, I'm sorry to say, is to keep working at it. Now, I can't keep scraping off and scraping off and scraping off. So at some point, which is now, I have to fill these big areas, scrape it off, scrape it off, scrape it off, and then it will be zing. And that's what we're going for. Shane, you've signed up, cool. So lads, if you want to do sculpt the skull, sign up, and I'll send you more information. This week's been mental. I thought I'd have it done this week, but I don't. So I will sign up, get the PDF. I will send it more in reference. So and lads, it's not. You don't be worrying about it. There's loads of people who, and I suppose what I like about this is there's a little bit of anonymity. Like you could be doing this and I don't know. I had one girl. I don't know if she's on or not. She sent me her sculpt. She's in uni in, I assume it's England. No, I'm not too sure what her name is because, lads, I don't understand. See, everybody know me as Paul McDonald on this because it actually says Paul McDonald, but when everybody has different names, I haven't got a clue what your name is, so I can't say the name. I think it's Ellie Effects. But she sent me her sculpt, and she's really shy about sending me the sculpt. And it's just an image of the sculpt. And no, it's really good. And no, there's things that it could be improved on, and she knows that. She's working on it at the minute. But the sculpt the skull or any of this stuff, or what I'm asking people to do is, all I'm asking is that people start sculpting past the time, and don't be getting frustrated by it. Try and learn something, and that's the purpose of what I was wanting to do with the skull. I ain't going to sculpt it with you. I'm going to do it at my table. I'll probably end up doing it a few times. I'll do it a few different ways, so that everybody will end up with a skull. Will it be a perfect skull? Maybe not. It doesn't bloody matter. I will put I've tested it out. I'm going to put a gallery together so we can all put our skulls, a photograph of our skull, up on the internet. You can do that. You don't have to do that. But if you're shy about sculpting or shy about showing your stuff off, but think you might be interested in doing it, do it. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell anybody. But it might just pass away a few hours, and that's the whole point of doing this, really, is that keep people sane in this nutty time. And you never know, you might learn something. And you never know, you might surprise yourself and end up with something really, really cool and savage. Savage, love that word. So, keep going at it, lads. Now, I don't know if you saw it, but I fucking hate when that happens, is that I'm dragging it up and I'm getting a little bit impatient because I want to get it finished, and it goes, it steps, and you can see the step, 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 and it's not the way I would like it to be. So, slow and steady. Slow and steady. Now, a lot of people are asking me as well, could you put out, they couldn't find it, so what I did was I put the how to make sculpting tools out again, but I re-edited it, and it's out everywhere again. So have a look at it. If you don't have sculpting tools, Jesus, I can't speak. If you don't have sculpting tools, it might help you. So before you start to sculpt the skull, you need tools. If you don't have tools, you can make them. If you haven't got stuff or can't afford stuff to make them, I show you how to make stuff out of just stuff you find in the house. And I'm gonna, same thing again here, lads, and I'm gonna scrape it up and get this smooth. I know this is boring as hell and you're just hearing me speak, but I can't move on to the next stage until this is actually done. If you can't afford clay, lads, I've already put up a recipe for salt dough, and salt dough would be great thing to use to make this skull. Excuse me while I scratch myself. Oh, getting pretty close. What have you been wanting for years, Tom? To do a skull, is it? I think with the skull or any of this, I'm going to have to compile some reference. Now the reference I'm going to sell you, lads, is literally stuff that I find useful. Now I will be robbing it from Lord and Masters of Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo and stuff like that. And if they use reference, we're using reference. So we need reference. So I'll send that out to everybody as well. Who's gonna have a go. I need a tool. So this fella here, I'm going to use him. Zester, lemon zester. It's just there's a few high bits that I don't want. Now, be careful that you don't end up wasting this stuff. Now I have wasted a bucket load because I did a hair punching, and that's up a hair punching demo. That's up on YouTube, YouTube, Instagram, website, and Facebook. But the hair got onto the ground. The clay got onto the ground, and it just fecked up the clay. So that went in the bin. So all of this stuff, this little swarfy stuff that falls off, try and keep it because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Just melt it down and use it again. Yeah, one. So lads, if you have any questions, because the last time, well, not the last time, but I think it was Damien said that he wanted me to do a hair punching demo, and I did that. So I know that people have asked me to do the silicone, having difficulties with that, but we'll see if I'm back in painting silicone, that is. But might be able to do that. I have to get stuff into that. But we might be able to do something in silicone. Like for instance, this skull. We might be able to mold them. I just have to see what I have or have not got. Rob Clifford, the big red dog, lads. Go and have a look at his stuff. He composed music for me last week. I said I needed stuff to listen to while I was doing this that was royalty free, and he actually made me something. So thank you, Rob. Savage, absolutely savage. Mother of God, like, somebody making music for you. Epic. So now I'm got that smooth. I want to work in here, and I've literally lashed this stuff on. So I'm going to work on it and get it nice and ready, and work on the anatomy as well. Now, lads, with the sculpt the skull, you're going to have to bear with me, and I want to teach it, and I want to do a workshop in it. Never done it like this. So you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm doing it for nothing. So I'm learning as I go as well. So criticism is welcome. Being nasty is not, but criticism is more than welcome. Nasty is well, we won't listen to nasty. There's enough of that crap going around. Mother of God. I see that in forums all the time. In like, especially this sort of stuff. Some innocent bystander asks a question, and if you read the question, you can answer the question. But then a couple of answers later, somebody is giving out stink or saying something that it shouldn't be this, it should be that. But I'm going, you're right, but you should always go up and read what the person asked at the very beginning. And they're not saying that you're a numpty, but definitely showed if you're a nasty person or not. So there's loads of divots in this, lads. I just lashed clay onto this stuff. I mean, lashed it on. Now, to do the sculpt the skull, lads, you're going to need to have some sculpting tools. You're going to need to have some clay. Wet clay is fine. Oil-based clay is fine. Mauler, fine. Anything that you can sculpt it, fine. But we're actually going to have to do it, and it's going to take us a little while to do. It's not going to take us a bucket load of time to do. It'll take a wee while to do though. Yeah. What I'm trying to do now is, as I said at the very beginning, the way I sculpt is balls and sausages. So little balls of clay, and then sausages of clay. So it's like one or the other. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm happy with this, and I'm trying to build this side up to be like that side there. So is there any other demos that people would like, or anything that people would like to discuss? Open mic. And lads, I don't know with you, but I'm dying with the heat here because this thing is at 70 degrees. Cloudy, are you on? Don't know if you are. But congratulations. I'll send them those tools to you. And I think some people, for people who don't know, Cloudy's one of my students, and she's one of those tools. And so some people are probably going to say there was a bit of favoritism going on, and none at all. We added up all the people who entered, and came to I think around 200 people. My kids picked 3 numbers between 1 and 200, and that's how you won it. Simple as that. So there's no favoritism at all. So congratulations, Claudia, and send me on your details. Shane, send me your postcode as well and your full name. Can't be putting down your Instagram name. So lads, this fella is getting sort of close to a stage that I can use one of my loop tools. I'll get that out of your way. I wouldn't use you can see these tool marks. Where is it? Which is this one here. That there, if you go back and look at the thing that I showed you about making tools, this here is it's done exactly the same way, but all it is a bandsaw blade. So you could actually use bandsaw blade to make these if you wanted to. And you have now this is a fine bandsaw blade, so you have the teeth on one side and smooth on the other. You leave the oven on all the time at a low heat. I do leave the oven on all the time at a low heat. Now, about 70 to 80 degrees. So but be careful. Stupidly, I think it was, I don't know, last Saturday, I left it on, and this room was roasting. So don't leave the bloody thing on. Is that Dan I saw? How are you, Dan? Hope you're well. We were just talking about Connor, the end of the universe. Yeah, so it is left on all the time, and it's the only way to keep a constant temperature. And you don't need a high heat, because if you have high heat, the wax just melts on the outside, and we need a low-ish heat. Lowish, it can still burn you. So be careful. Thanks, Maeve. Congratulations to you too. But I needed your, I think it was your postcode and your full name. I don't understand it myself. Well, maybe it's the age I am. I don't know. I put my name on the Instagram, so I thought that's what you did. I didn't realize that you make up a name. Now, Shane, I don't know what you're trying to say, but my name is fairly simple with Instagrams and all of that, so you know exactly who I am. But I wouldn't necessarily, and I have talked to people and know people, and yet when I'm on Instagram or Facebook, I'm actually talking to them, well, on Messenger. I don't know it's them. Anyway. Yeah, switch the oven on. But remember to switch it off. Carolina, what's the story? Now, Instagram, we're coming up on an hour, and I have actually work to do, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to leave it. Usually I stay on a little bit longer, but if you want to re-look at it, I'll share it, and hopefully the next time you come back, which is Saturday at 3, I will have this all smoothed out like it is here, and I'll be starting on to sort of equaling out the actual face, doing the nice bits rather than the just the making uppy bits. I know it's easier to find people when you use your name, absolutely, but you're DJ Papillion, so people would know you like that. But it took me a wee while to figure out who's DJ. Is it Papillon or Pap? Oh, it's Papillon. Took me a wee while to figure that out. So, lads, I am going to love you and leave you soon in about 30 seconds. Thank you. I know he looks fine on that side, but this side, the bit I've been working on, he doesn't. So that's the bit I'm going to get tidied up for next week. So lads, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope it's passed a bit of your time. And if you want to do Sculpt to Skull, sign up and share it around. Share it all over the place. Try and get as many people doing Sculpt to Skull. So take care of yourselves and keep safe and keep sane. Bye-bye now. Ashley, how's it going? I'm sorry you're coming in at the end, but if you want to look at it, you can look at it back when I share it. And Instagram. It's long.